Take a breath. Let's take another deep breath in together. And let it go. One more deep breath. Whew. Well, I've been crying since Alhamdulillah, so... and now I have to talk. Our theme this month is divine discomfort. And Beth, thank you for that song. Because to me, that's what this theme is all about. And I really feel that this truth, that something is calling us deeper, further than we've ever been before, is the invitation that this divine discomfort is calling from us. And I really deeply feel, sense, know that that's what's happening on this planet right now. Is that there is what feels like so much pain, so much disease. There's cancer, there's war, there's children dying in Gaza, the environment is falling apart, our nation is bickering, it's bickering with itself. The divine discomfort is everywhere we look. And there's something that is brewing inside of me where I keep feeling like I'm seeing a little glimmering light far off on the horizon in my understanding. That there's something that's seeking to emerge here. And that it's in that thing that makes us uncomfortable. It's in the pain. It's in the dis-ease. It's in all that feels broken. That I truly believe that life itself is reaching into each one of us and seeking to shake us awake. I am someone who, for whatever reason, has always been very clear about what I came here on this planet to do. And it's this thing that we're doing here. Every time in my life I have attempted to ignore that, God has almost killed me. Quite literally. Either through my own suicidal thoughts earlier in my life, or through the conditions that have come up and broken me down. And every time that happens, I get pushed back to the path that I came here to be on. And I believe that that thing that I have experienced is the way that the universe works. Yes. And that that's what's happening, again, in our world right now. Is that there are truths, divine truths about who we are, about what it means to be a human, about what it means to be God in form, about what it means to be the place where the universe is creating. There are divine truths about who we are. There's only one of us here. The planet, every person, all of life, it's one, wholeness, perfect, absolute. And then we keep going different directions. We keep telling different stories. We keep doing things to each other. And there's a sickness in our collective consciousness. That infection in the human collective mind that has been here for generations. It's eating our bodies. It's eating the world. And there's an invitation here for us to look at what is and find it in ourselves to look deeper. Because in every place of disruption, in every place of pain, there is a doorway to God. There is a doorway to something deeper. And everything that's showing up in our world that looks like not like what we want to see, It's the way that life, God, the mind, the heart of the universe is trying to grab your heart and say, look, how could this be different? How could you be different? How can each one of us look into the world and look into our own pain, look into each other's eyes, look into all that's happening, and look for God? To look for that divine spark, to look for the connection. To look into those places, into those people that we think are doing harm in the world. Can we look into those people and those places and look for God as well? Because as long as we see separation, as long as we see evil, as long as we see other, that's what we are going to keep getting. Yes. And there has to be a way for us, humanity, each one of us, to look into the world, to look for the truth, and be the place where it emerges in a new way. And it's only going to happen if we become it, if we look for it, if we call it forth, if the things that bring us the most pain and grief and sadness in our lives, if we look to each one of those things and say, there is a doorway here to something deeper, I am ready to awaken, open the door, and I will walk through it. Yes. Because something is calling us. Something is calling us deeper than we've ever been before. In our prayer meeting this last week with the practitioners and ministers and the prayer team, we had a conversation about this. Because there's so much that's coming to each one of us that we are holding for you, for our community, for the world. And it's really easy to get lost in the conditions. It's really easy to get lost in the sickness. It's really easy to get lost in the pain when our job is to see wholeness, when our job is to pray for the revelation of truth, when our job is to be the place that believes that a miracle is possible. Yes. And there's a line from the Course in Miracles that I have on a bookmark that keeps falling out of things, and I keep finding it. And it's like, okay, there's a message, clearly, that is trying to come my direction. And it says something to the effect of this. It says, nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. And herein lies the peace of God. There is something so profound in that statement, I do not understand it, but I feel it. I feel the truth there. Because that is telling me to look at whatever it is that I think is wrong and to realize that there is actually not a word of truth in it. It is a nightmare. It is a bad dream. It is an illusion. And that our job is to see that underneath it there is a divine wholeness that if we can see it, will emerge, will reveal itself, will rise up from the conditions and become something different. But we have got to look through what is and believe wholly that the truth of us, that eternal, ever-changing, infinite being can never be hurt, harmed, or in any way. That the truth of who we are can never be threatened. We're all here in this weird-ass dream we're sharing together. And it all seems really real. It all is so convincing. What does it look like to believe in the dreamer of the dream and not get lost in the dream? Because the truth is, there's only one of us here. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. It's your life now. It's every life. It's the life of the planet. It is all life everywhere. And the truth is, the only thing that's wrong in the world is that many of us, most of us, seem to have forgotten that. Because if we remembered that truth, we would interact with each other very differently. Yes. We would hold our resources, the other people on the planet, all of the things that we are experiencing, we would hold it all differently if we truly, truly believed and looked through the eyes of God at everything we see. Yeah. Everything would be different if we actually lived from that place of being in the wholeness, the truth of who we are. And when you get into the mystical side of any spiritual tradition, it's always going to lead you down that same path that says, hey, there's actually only one of us here. And the only thing wrong is that we've forgotten that. Because if we truly remembered who really are, everything would be different. Take a breath. And I just need us to drop in. Take another deep breath. Feel yourself in this moment. And just breathe. Every time I return to my breath, I remember that I am being breathed by something greater than I am. That the one life, that the infinite being, the earth life herself, is coursing through my body, is breathing me. It is that one infinite intelligence that is speaking through me. It is the heart of the universe that is seeing through my eyes, that is feeling this pain. Be with me in this moment of just remembering that there's something greater than we are that is animating us, breathing us, living through us right now. And that everyone, everything, every experience that is unfolding on this planet right now is held, is part of, is within this one. And that one is reaching out and begging us to remember. And until we do, its voice is only going to scream at us louder. So let us be a people who are ready to listen. Let us open our ears. Let us open our hearts. Let us open our minds to the absolute truth that God is all that there is. That when we remember the sacred, when we remember God, when we remember the infinite, beautiful divinity that lives and breathes in everyone and everything, we could actually bring about a world that works. Because in that truth, there is only room for compassion. There is only room for respect. There is only room to remember our interdependence and that we are all here because of and for each other. And so I'm here in this moment with a heart wide open, feeling that something is calling us deeper, further, closer to the truth than we've ever been before. And what I know is that it is always darkest before dawn, that spring comes after winter. So no matter what we think we see outside, there is a season, there is a turning, there is a shifting, there is a changing, there is something going on here. So let us look to the possibility. Let us look for love. Let us look for God. Let us remember who we are. And then as we allow this truth to awaken within us and we walk in the world with the light of God shining through our eyes, with the smile of the heart of the universe on our faces, we become the place where change happens, where something new emerges, where life falls in love with itself. So I'm just grateful that we can be here in this place, that we have each other, that we have community, that we have the opportunity to practice looking for God. And so yet again, I just surrender to that which is breathing me, knowing that there is indeed a power for good in this universe that has been unfolding through all of evolution, through all of existence, for all of time, that this power is so much greater than we are, and yet it is who we are. So in the oneness, I rest in this moment. And so I invite us into another breath. Remembering yet again that we are being breathed by something greater than we are. Let it reveal itself to us. Let us open our hearts and our minds to see the truth, to be the truth. And so I let it be, as it is. And so it is.